live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and blasttheradio.com. This is The Lowell Green Show. The number to call and be heard around the world is 613-413-2217. Or email Lowell at blasttheradio.com. And now, here is Lowell Green.
Thank you, John. Folks, anything you wish to discuss this afternoon, anything that interests you, puzzles you, anything you think deserves a public debate. John, the lines are wide open as always, right? Phone lines.
And working today. And working.
I have a question. In your opinion, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, dogs, cats, is Tamara Lynch a political prisoner? Do we have political prisoners in Canada? They have them in Cuba. They've got them in China. They've got them, I am sure, in North Korea. They've got them in Russia.
Yep.
Do we have political prisoners in Canada now? Is this what our new, bright, shiny prime minister is giving to us? Tamara Lynch, so far, has spent 48 days in jail. I mean, is she really a threat to society? She's denied bail for a very minor infraction. Sent back to jail. Look, we've got, excuse me, we've got drug dealers, wife beaters, pedophiles, accused murderers, granted bail, usually after a day or two. But Tamara Lynch remains in jail on charges of counseling mischief. Not charged with mischief. She's charged with counseling mischief for this 48 days, and she may spend longer in jail. The prosecution, ladies and gentlemen, the prosecution here is demanding 14 years in jail. This is what the prosecution, the Crown, is saying. 14 years. What did she do? She helped to organize, at the time, a perfectly legal protest. Her big crime, of course, as far as we can determine, is that she helped to organize the GoFundMe campaign to help finance the Freedom Convoy. Now, by the way, I must tell you that Justin Trudeau has frozen all of those funds. Nobody ever got any of that money. It's all frozen. Excuse me. So she's still languishing in jail. Her lawyer, who, by the way, I know very well, is a very extreme left-winger, he is saying, look, enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's astonishing. No question in my mind that Tamara Lynch remains in jail for just one reason. She offended Justin Trudeau. She was in a convoy, helped to organize a convoy in which there were signs which said, F Trudeau. This, as far as I can see, is her major crime. And if that is true, if she's only in jail because she offended the Prime Minister, then, ladies and gentlemen, by any definition, that is a political prisoner. She's not there for legal reasons, well, technically speaking. She's there because she pissed off the Prime Minister. A Prime Minister, by the way, who once again has been caught with his bloody pants off, trying to interfere in justice in Nova Scotia. Oh, he says, no, he didn't. I mean, Bill Blair is down there testifying, lying through his teeth again. Oh no, says Blair. The Prime Minister and I, we never tried to interfere with justice in the investigation into the mass shooting in Nova Scotia. Two OPP officers not only saw it entirely different, they even wrote notes about how they tried to interfere. It's unbelievable. So there's Tamara Lynch. Now you may say, oh, well, too bad, too bad. She shouldn't have done what she did. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a principle here. Can people in this country, your country, my country, actually go to jail because the prime minister is mad at you? And if that's not the cause, you explain to me why, as I say, you can rob a bank, you can beat up your wife, you can beat up your husband, and you'll be out in bail probably within a day or two. Hell's bells, you may even murder somebody and be out on bail in a day or two, but not Tamara Lynch. So what grave crime, what grave danger to organized civil society did she pose? Enough is enough, says her lawyer. I say enough is enough. I mean, this is not Russia. This is not China. It's not Cuba. It's not North Korea. This is Canada, land of the free and the brave. Well, you're not so free, I guess, if you tick off the prime minister. That's what do you think? I mean, am I out to lunch on this one? What possible reason could there be for the Crown to suggest that Tamara Lynch spend 14 years in jail? You won't spend 14 years in jail if you murder your children. On another topic, I mean, we pay among the world's, certainly the Western world's, highest taxes. I'm not just talking about income tax. We've got every inheritance tax. We've got GST. We've got carbon tax. We've got this tax. We've got that tax. And I mean, we honest to God, we now are among the highest tax people in the world. Now, you would think if we're the highest tax people or close to it, that we would have the best government services in the world. Excuse me, the old throat's acting up again. But it just seems to me that that there's hardly any government core service that works anymore. Our airports are still in chaos. Pearson Airport now is the world's worst record for delays, airline delays, though in the world. I mean, jeepers, creepers. And by the way, Montreal has the second worst record. Passport, the lineups are ugly to get a passport. Our healthcare system is crumbling. People now dying in emergency rooms. I mean, now and here's another, and our roads are crumbling. The light rail won't work again. Hit with lightning this time, John.
I saw that.
You heard this. I mean, these are core government services for which we pay through the bloody nose. More than 50% of the money that we earn goes out in taxes in one form or another. Fraser Institute now says it's closer to 60%. For what? Let me give you another example. Maybe another minor, but it's another example of how we taxpayers are being treated like shit. I got here. I got this. This is Ontario Department of Transport, renewing your driver's license. I got this on Monday, or last Friday. So it says to schedule I'm a senior. So every 2 years, I'm supposed to take a driver's test to find out if my eyes still work and my brain still works. In my case, it does just barely, but as you know. So they give me an 800 number to call, toll free, and to make an appointment. So you have to go through these group sessions, but anyhow, I've done it a couple of times now, and I passed. So anyhow, I get on I dial the number, and of course, they give me this ugly music. John, you may have a thought on this. When they put you on hold, they always, first of all, they say, your call is very important to us. Bullshit. If my call was important to you down there in Toronto or wherever the hell you are, then you would have answered the damn phone. I sat with ugly music, terrible music for 2 freaking hours trying to get
Oh, my
through to
God.
book an appointment so I can get my driver's license. I never got anybody. About every 2 or 3 minutes, I have this terrible music. No. I mean, why can't we at least get Grosh Robin or the Beatles or something?
Because you know why?
Why?
It costs a fortune to license that stuff to use it. So they get non-copyright music to play. And it's horrible.
Some little kid playing, Pixies on the on the piano or something. I don't know. Anyway, so
Pretty
for
much.
2 hours, for 2 hours or actually longer, I sit there. But what really ticks me is every once in a while on comes the voice, someone will be with you shortly. Your call is very important to me, to us. It's not important to you. I never did. So I have no idea. 2 hours on the phone, and I still don't know when or where I'm supposed to get my driver's license. Just one more example of the shabby manner that we taxpayers are being treated. Like if you really cared, Service Ontario, if you really cared about me, if you really cared about any senior out there who's got to do this, you'd bloody well have enough people there to answer the freaking phones so that we don't have to wait 2 hours. Longer than 2. I didn't. 2 hours, I still didn't get anybody. You'd have enough people so that you wouldn't have chaos in the airports. You'd have enough trained people so that we'd have passports. You'd fix the roads. The damn light rail would work. Folks, I know I'm in a rant here, but I mean it's just, you know what? It's not funny anymore. It's not funny. We pay through the nose for taxes. We pay terrible taxes. And for those taxes, we should get good, at least reasonably competent government services. We don't. We pay the taxes, but we sure as hell don't get the service. Any comments on any of this? Let us know, please. John, what are we here? Oh, by the way, talking about Tamara Lynch, you had, I thought, a very interesting comment about this with the guy that put an American flag over tomb of the unknown Canadian soldier. What's your comment on that?
So yeah, for anybody who didn't see this story, well, this is the point. Like, who deserves to be in jail? Tamara Lynch, who, look, as far as I know, she's in jail right now because she breached her bail conditions. Okay, fine. She shouldn't have been there in the first place, whatever. But this guy, on Sunday night, I guess, he's an Ottawa resident who's all up in this whole convoy nonsense and whatever else, goes to the tomb of the unknown soldier in Ottawa in the middle of the night, sets up his video camera to stream it to TikTok, and drapes the tomb of the unknown Canadian soldier in an American flag. Now, apparently the Canadian flag was there too, but I didn't see it in any of the photos he posted, and nobody I know of has seen the Canadian flag in any of the photos he's posted. If I did that, Lowell, in the United States, if I went to their tomb at Arlington Cemetery and I draped it in a Canadian flag, I would be shot on sight. They have permission to do that. That's an act of war.
Ooh.
Yes.
They'll shoot you.
And this guy's not even making the newspaper. But Tamara Lynch is in jail. Who should be there? Really?
She's a political prisoner. There's no question in my mind.
100%.
No question at all. This is I never thought that I would say this about Canada, that we have political prisoners here. She ticked off the Prime Minister. Simple as that. John, what are people having to say here?
All right, listen, the phone works today, so if you'd like to make a phone call to the Lowell Green Show, we welcome that. 613-413-2217. Yes,
and let me just say this. I would really, I appreciate the people that like Mike VO. I see, the comments every day. That's good. You're interested. You're plugged in. We appreciate that. But it would be really nice to have some other people out there. I mean, I have, like yesterday's show, I had over 600 views on Facebook. Well, it would be nice if I could get maybe a dozen comments from those people. In other words, you know what? This is your country. This is your government. These are your taxes. These are our citizens. It's your jail. Have a say. Speak up. Apathy is what kills democracy. That's all I'm asking. I get on the air. I expose myself every day here, emotions and so forth. And all I ask is just respond. Let me know. Let the world know that there are some people out there, that you care enough to write 5 lines on a text. That's all. Thank you very much, John. Go ahead, please. That's
When
my
when you
lecture.
interrupted me,
My lecture for the day.
that's all good. Listen, when you interrupted me, I thought you were going to chastise me because the phone problem was as simple as the damn plug wasn't in all the
I
way.
don't. I don't care about. I don't care about the phone.
All right, I know you
People are
don't.
good enough to phone. Great. That's good.
All right, she's a financial prisoner, says John. I believe this is the first time we've heard from you, John. Way to go! Look at that right out of the gate. Let's not forget the cost of this havoc: $30 million, not including pending lawsuits. Lorraine says
Wait,
OAS
hold on,
pension.
hold on.
Holding it.
Where did you get that figure?
It's
$30
the second
million.
person that said. It's the second person that said $30 million. So
Where
that's.
did you get
I
that
don't
figure?
know.
That's nonsense.
It's
Somebody
coming
has
from
picked
somewhere.
a number out of something. You know what? I mean, the protest was perfectly legal, widely supported. It stayed too long, and that's why it was declared illegal. Okay, no question about it. But I mean, hey, folks, protests are legal in this country. This show is a protest. They're trying to put a stop to it, but the protests so far are still legal. And this, where these $30 million came from, I have no idea. Go ahead, John.
Jamie is on Twitch, says, love your show, Lowell. That's my comment. All right. Kellyanne on Facebook. Simply, it's the current government's fault. As Canadians, we need to wake up to the bullshit and get off our asses to do something. Tamara got an award for freedom. Got an award for freedom isn't a hypocrisy. Isn't it a hypocrisy that she's fighting for her freedom today? Sorry about that. I butchered that, Kelly.
By the way, she broke the bail conditions. What she did was a judge said that she could come to Toronto to accept this award, but there were some people she wasn't supposed to meet. So at some point during the award ceremony, one of these banned men came up to her and posed for a picture. According to her lawyer, it lasted maybe 10 seconds. For this, she's back in jail again.
And probably a situation that you can't even control it, right? Like you've been in situations where you've got a crowd around you. You can't control who's breaking through there and posing for a picture with you.
But I mean, 5 or 10 seconds with one photograph, and you spend weeks or months or years in jail? I mean, this is not Canada. Go ahead, John.
Actually, let's go over to you and get a word in here for Shields. We're 18 minutes into the show.
I'll tell you what is Canada. One of the things that still works very efficiently, Shields up there in Pakenham. Well, actually, everything in Pakenham works really well, okay? Small town, Ontario, thank God, still works well. Shields is not small. They're a major dealer, but they're in a small town. And you know what? It's the same family since 1947. So they know their business. They understand the pricing. They shop the market. They make sure that their prices are extremely competitive, and in many cases even better. Some great sales underway right now. All of the major appliances there. Then 90% of anything you would want is in stock, which means they'll have it in your home within a few days. You don't have to wait months from Shields. And don't forget, a dandy little butcher shop, local meats only. Shields.ca. All I ever ask folks is give them a chance. They're local, they're good, they're nice people, they'd love your business, they'd thank you for it. Just give them a chance. That's all. John, back to you.
I bet they even answer the phone when you call too, because your call is important to them. Chrissy says someone earlier brought up that Karla Homolka got 12 years. This system is screwed up.
You know what? That's
all right. 613-413-2217. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I had forgotten that. Karla Homolka, involved in the murder of her own sister, involved in the murder of 2 other women, torture and so forth. She spent 12 years in jail. They're asking 14 for Tamara Lynch. Charged with counseling mischief. No violence, nobody hurt, no threats against Parliament. It's set no arms. They're demanding 14 years. If it's not political prisoner, I don't know what it is. Go ahead, John.
Kirk says Rex Murphy had a picture with her, a darn fellow Newfie from around the Bay. God love him. All right, text 613-413-2217. This person says, exactly, Lowell. Tamara is a political prisoner because she embarrassed and defied Justin, held to account by his personal official police force and court officials. Trudeau admires the basic dictatorship of China and is shaping his Canada as such.
By the way,
Comment.
the freedom rally or whatever it was in Toronto that she attended and had a photograph with the wrong person. That was attended, and in fact, I think Rex Murphy was an MC at that function. Go ahead, John.
Another text, this one from Deb, and the number here, 613-413-2217. Thanks to Trudeau, our country's going to hell in a handbasket. He has to go. All right, email from Robert. The email address is lowell@blasttheradio.com. Tamara Lynch is just one more example to show the people that are actually paying attention that Trudeau has no interest in governing in a democracy. He's shown us time and time again he believes he governs in an autocracy, in an autocratic way. I can't get it out of my mouth that I'm tired. Sorry. Shutting down Parliament and governing from his doorstep was the best thing he could have wished for. All right. Lowell, you're cutting out, says Kellyanne. Kellyanne, it's probably my fault. I'm in rural New Brunswick, and I could write volume upon volume upon volume of just how shitty rural Canadians have it when it comes to internet. Satan's Playmate on Twitch. I agree. She's a political prisoner. Too bad it wasn't Trudeau doing the time. Let's go to Joshua. Tamara Lynch is a threat to Justin Trudeau's ideals, and image, and that to our prime minister is the biggest threat to Canada. Let me just
ask a question. If Tamara Lynch is a threat to Justin Trudeau, what am I? Should I spend 14 years in jail? Huh. There's probably some people who
was that Debbie laughing in the background?
Yeah, I'll retract that question because I'm sure there'll be many people who say yes. But there are all kinds of people out there who think that that you should go to jail for I don't know, taking part in a convoy. I guess. Go ahead.
To YouTube, and Tony says, when will Canadians have the balls to stand up and revolt? Michelle says, this situation should make every citizen of this country very afraid. Yep.
Hold it. Yep. Just a minute. I have to respond to that. It's time for people to get some balls, stand up. That's what the convoy was.
Yep.
Go ahead, please.
That's a good point. Michelle, I think I read your comment as Lowell was trying to get my attention there. This situation should make every citizen of this country very afraid, she says. All right, Boo Boo is on YouTube. He says, Trudeau is making an example of Tamara. He is simply showing her that he is the boss. What a friggin' joke Trudeau is. When will the insanity end? 14 years in jail? Holy smokes. I think Anne's being facetious when she says, Lowell, as far as you being in jail, off with your head. And Mike says the same thing, off with your head. Let's go back to some of the earlier comments. Lynn, anyone who speaks sense is a threat to Trudeau. Peter says...
Wait a minute, hold on. I got to write that one down. That's a good one. Anybody that makes sense is a threat to Trudeau. Good point.
Anyone who speaks sense is a threat to Trudeau. Yep. We've had a couple of good liners like that the last couple of days. Well done, audience. Peter says, well, we all know Trudeau has a hate-on for her, so when you're an enemy of Trudeau, that's what happens. Maybe she should donate to the Trudeau Foundation. If you're a crooked liberal, then you can do anything you wish. When the shoe is on the other foot, conservatives need to investigate liberals and Trudeau family. We Foundation, when they find evidence of criminal activity, jail them. Bob, police should never be influenced by politicians. That's a quote. Then he says, Trudeau has repeatedly proven this rule does not apply to him.
Yeah, and including
Craig is
including what's happening right now in the investigation into what happened in Nova Scotia. Very clearly, both Bill Blair and Justin Trudeau tried to interfere in the justice system in Nova Scotia. Go ahead.
And that's what I believe he was referring to in his comment. Craig just into the comment moments ago. Craig, nice to have you join the show. He says Trudeau's making an example with his 14-year penalty for organizing a protest is expected to scare all silent. Joshua says the scary thing is how many liberals applaud Tamara being in jail because they don't share her ideas. If you want someone in jail who doesn't agree with your views, you don't appreciate the freedom of democracy.
Very true. Very true. Can you read that one again, please? That is so
Sure can.
absolutely bang on. Go ahead.
I will put that up on the screen for everyone to see as well. Joshua, you get credit for this. The scary thing is how many liberals applaud Tamara being in jail because they don't share her ideas. If you want someone in jail who doesn't agree with your views, you don't appreciate the freedom of democracy. And as you can hear, we've got a phone call coming in. Lowell, you want to go to the phones?
Sure. Let's give it a
All
try.
right. Hi, go ahead. Who's this, please?
This is Paul in Canada, actually.
Hi, Paul. You're on with Lowell Green. Go ahead and speak your mind.
Yeah, hi, Lowell. Actually, just concerned. This is nothing new, but it's gone on since they've been in power. This government repeatedly demonstrates they don't know the bounds of what they should be meddling in and influencing, and they overstep their bounds. It was with Jody Wilson-Raybould. Now it's Brenda Lucki. They're both, and careers end over this. They're sacrificed. And I just wondered in the case, they send a tone that, hey, if you don't do what we want you to do, your career's over or it's torpedoed. And I just imagine working in public service. This must permeate, how they operate in anything that, when the government's expressed, for example, that Leach is a bad person and all this. Who's going to stand up and say, no, I think she deserves her freedom? When you can say, well, we're going to not let her continue on her bail,
Yeah, I agree. Somehow or other, there's just absolutely no question in my mind that Tamara Lynch is in jail for only one reason, and that is that she offended Justin Trudeau. How he has influenced this, I don't know, but whether he personally has intervened, I don't know. But very clearly, the message is there. We want Tamara Lynch in jail as an example of what happens to those who oppose the prime minister. To me, that's the message loud and clear. Thank you for the call, Paul. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. John, back to you.
Yep, back to Facebook. And Kellyanne says, if you express your freedom of speech about your dissent against the government, in particular Trudeau and his policies, you're threatened with prosecution. Everyone in Canada should be very afraid, as everyone has a line in the sand they won't cross. Pam, I believe this is the first comment from you, Pam. Welcome to the show. Thank you. She says, farmers are already being threatened not to convoy, or they will lose their loans and could lose their farms. How does Trudeau control so much, even before it happens?
Let me just comment. I'm glad that she wrote that. I'm very disturbed by the fact that the public seems to be opposed to this farmers' convoy. Listen, if in fact farmers in this country are ordered to reduce fertilizers by 30%, this means much lower crops, much more expense, lost farms, etc., etc. The same kind of thing that happened in Sri Lanka, same kind of thing that's happening now in Holland. And apparently, Trudeau has not learned his lesson. But when farmers protest this, say, listen, we're going to protest. What you're going to do is you're going to destroy farms. You're going to reduce food production drastically. We can't put up with that. But when they protest, the media and to a degree, the public is opposed to the protest. This is very disturbing. Look, if you don't want food production reduced by 30%, if you don't want the cost of food to escalate even more, then you bloody well better get behind the farmers, because when they say, listen, we aren't using any more fertilizer than we absolutely have to, it's so expensive. And they say, if you reduce the amount of fertilizer, then the production of crops will definitely be affected, which means less food, higher cost. If that's what you want, then protest the farmers' protest, please. Go ahead, please, John.
I mean, the farmers have to be some pissed off if they're willing to walk away from their crops in the height of growing season to stand up. I mean, that says everything to me. Kirk says, didn't Stalin starve Ukraine in the early 30s? Like the Freedom Convoy Boo-Boo says, like the Freedom Convoy Boo-Boo says, the farmers also have the right to protest. Don't we all have that right? What the hell is going on? Another comment from Michelle.
Sorry, my concern is the fact that the public seemed like the police were very adamant about this farmers' protest. We're not going to let you do this, ticketed, so forth. Wait a minute, protests are legal. And don't you think that in this case, the farmers have a legitimate reason to protest? Do you want the cost of food to escalate even more? Do you want less food produced? Because that's what the farmers are telling you. Who do you believe, Justin Trudeau or the farmers? Go ahead.
Sorry, that was go ahead to me?
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay between us today, Lowell. Rural internet. Michelle, they are trying to cause an exact revolt, which will give them the excuse to make their emergency measures permanent. 2 more comments, and we can call it a day here, Lowell. Gregory says, I would also mention that on hindsight, it would now seem that the last election being called early was more of a result that the Liberals knew there was a political movement coming from out west and that they needed the political clout, a majority government, to react to what eventually became the convoy, as they knew there would be a non-confidence vote to trigger a more emotional election. And to Hein, you get the last word today. Hein, we're running a little over time. If the public believes that farmers use more fertilizer than is absolutely necessary, they need to shake their heads. No farmer wants to burn money for nothing. Farmers know how to cultivate and maximize their yields without over-fertilizing. There you go, sir.
Thank you all, folks. Don't forget, share, okay? If you think more people need to hear what we're saying here, just push that little share button. That's all you have to do. Thank you all. Back tomorrow.
The Lowell Green Show is seen and heard live around the world at 2 p.m. Eastern. Connect with us online at blasttheradio.com/Lowell Green. Can't join us live? Download the Lowell Green podcast. Available on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Ask your smart speaker to play the Lowell Green podcast. This is a production of blasttheradio.com.